I love it myself. To be honest with you, I love it. What's going down? Round up, homies. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. All that stuff wrapped up in a present and put it inside of a biscuit, put it in the oven, cook it, put some butter on top of it, and here it is for you. Happy New Year to you guys. I love you. I hope you're doing well out there in the United States and wherever you're watching from. Thank you for supporting your boy, for voting the Roundup Network as one of the most popular, the most influential, most impactful channel on YouTube as we pass, I don't even know, 100 something thousand, whatever. The numbers are just astronomical. So I look forward to talking to you today as we talk about multifamily investing. My boy Mike, as we were talking a few minutes ago, he's trying to close a deal, dealing with all these loans and stuff. Had to talk to the lender real quick. But today we're going to be bringing you information about multifamily real estate. And Mike, if anybody that I personally know, who am I, by the way? Who is this guy? I am Chris Haskins. My mission and my ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. I got you've been noticing that I haven't really been broadcasting live a lot because we're building a house for me and my family. See if I can get some pictures on that. I hope my account doesn't get hacked too. I see people's accounts get hacked, and it's not good. Naked ladies, bodies, all stuff hanging. Boy, I hope they don't hack my account because it would just be so not good. But I know Mike personally. I've been to several of his multifamily properties. The man owns hundreds of doors. I've been to them in Houston, Texas. Take me to a building with 66 doors. So I've seen him in action. I've seen his network. I've seen the people that he works with. I have no idea how he does it. But tonight, he's going to be showing us, pulling back the curtain, how does he build these teams? Mike, you there?
Hey, what's happening, Chris? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, brother.
Yeah, same to you, brother. I know you just had a hotline. That's why real estate. I get so sick and tired of real. You have to take these phone calls. It's like there is no not taking a call.
Yeah, I cannot even explain. Yeah, we've been plowing through this, and this is the value of real estate is it changes people's lives, and this is what we
That's
get
true.
to do. We get to do that for both the tenants and our investors, and you and us,
Everybody.
and it
Yeah.
changes people's lives, and and so
The
Chris and
community.
I, every year we try to come together and help as many people as we can get into this crazy game, and we love it.
So I
And so,
love real
yeah, it's happy
estate.
to be here with you, man.
I love real estate, but I want everybody to know under the sound of my voice. I don't like it. Like I love real
Yeah,
estate. It treats me well. It's almost like I want everybody to understand this. I've been doing it. I had like 500 some thousand come in yesterday, right? So I'm looking at these checks. I'm like, Chris, you dreamed, you dreamed of being here. Like you are here, right? What are you going to do with it, right? So it's not
you
like
got
you can go spend this stuff. I mean, you can't go out. So you turn into a whole nother. And I have a therapist, Mike, to help me with this. I'm like, when I look at real estate, I don't even enjoy it. It's just numbers on the. It's numbers in an equation. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you understand numbers and people, you can make real estate work. Those are
You make it work.
those are the two things I've learned that you have to know. You got to know numbers and you got to know people. If you know both, there's all kinds of strategies. You can't hang around Chris's YouTube channel or my YouTube channel or anywhere else long. There's strategies everywhere, but what it really comes down to is you got to understand numbers, you got to understand people,
Yeah,
and that's what we love to share, and that's what we'll talk a little bit about today: numbers, people. How do you make those work in the multifamily space? Because it's a little bit different when you approach it. If you're used to single family, or maybe you love Airbnb or whatever, you come in the multifamily game, it's a little different. And that's what we'll talk about today, which is fun.
yeah.
Now, that being said, Chris, it's different, but it ain't that different.
No,
It's
it's
numbers
still
and people.
numbers, equations, and people. I mean, you got to
That
have
is.
you.
And
You
it's
got to
still
plug it in, and it
it
has to work.
exactly. So I'm excited. So it looks like we got people already coming in. They
If
say
we
Dallas Cowboys for the Super Bowl. I'm gonna have to disagree, brother. I'm just gonna have to
please don't
disagree.
give Mike. No, 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 no. We're not giving Mike. No, you are forbidden to talk about sports. I cannot deal with this. You don't want this. You don't want this man getting on sports.
No, especially when you start talking about Dallas Cowboys with 49ers fan here, we're gonna have to go down. And so no, I'm pumped
No,
I'm pumped to be Chris and I were hanging out. Where were we hanging out, Chris? Virginia. And I was looking at a game and Chris was like, man, you're crazy. And so
anyway, yeah.
it's fun though. No, but 2022 is wrapping up. Now 2023 is going to usher in.
What you gonna do?
This upcoming year, Chris, we've all heard interest rates are rising and the economy's crashing.
Thank God.
Everything is going. And real estate people have been saying they've been waiting for this for a while. Now that it's happening, everybody's freaking out.
Well, not these guys. I promise you, the guys that taught me, these guys are sitting at home eating steak dinners, like just busting with joy.
Yeah. So in order to understand this market of multifamily real estate, how to approach it, what to look for, we're going to talk a little bit today and answer some questions. So Chris, I'll walk through some stuff, then we'll take some questions along the way. What do you say?
Yeah, real quick, Mike. I was telling people about your background. I know you've got hundreds of doors, and I know I've been to your doors. I met your managers and what is the guy that the manager, the property manager, and then the
asset manager? Yeah, the site
asset manager. There you go.
Yep.
So just tell people a little bit about you and how we get to multifamily as opposed to.
So I got into real estate kind of by accident. I got into my parents were in real estate a little bit, but not like we are, like fanatical, crazy people about it, like we love it. I got into it when I first got married years ago. I just got a duplex because I wanted to live in one half so I didn't have to pay rent. I wanted to live in half, have the other side rented out so they could pay my rent. I didn't know.
That's smart.
I didn't want, I mean, and by the way, anybody listening, that's a great way to start in real estate. Buy yourself a duplex, live in half, rent the other half out, live for free, or just a little bit above free. Might be a couple $100 a month to cover some utilities, but man, it's so cool.
Low risk.
And absolutely. We call that house hacking. If you've never heard that phrase, some of you probably have, but that's how I got my start. And I started really falling in love with real estate. My wife and I started kind of getting a unit here and there. And then when COVID hit, I had another business that I was running. I was a traveling speaker. I was going all over the country speaking at live events. Well, you know what happened when COVID hit? Live events went away like in about 10 minutes and it was canceled. And so I decided to start buying real estate with other people's money because with multifamilies, what I knew, that's where I started. And after raising millions and millions of capital and buying hundreds and hundreds of doors, I love multifamily. I love the cash flow. I love the appreciation. I love the fact that you can leverage these properties and leverage other people's money. Alex Hermosi has a good quote: leverage is the measurement of input versus output. If you go work a 9-to-5 job for minimum wage, that's a lot of input, not a lot of output. When you can buy real estate with other people's money, not a lot of input from you, but a lot of output. That's high leverage. So we have high leverage, and that's a really good place to be in. And that's why learning how to use other people's money and buy multifamily and get the cash flow and all of those things are really, really, really valuable to know, because quite frankly, it's not a secret, but not that many people know it. Isn't that weird?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, which is what I love about your channel. It's about it's about limiting the amount of people that don't know it, or removing the people that don't know it, meaning making sure people do. But it's not a secret, but not a lot of people know it. And so once you learn it, it makes you so powerful. There's two legs to this project of multifamily real estate, and that is finding deals and finding money. Finding deals, finding money. By the way, that's not multifamily. That's every piece of real estate. You got to find a deal and you got to find money. Chris does a lot of subject to and fix and flips, and all his story, but he finds deals, he finds money. Doesn't matter what kind of deal, And that's I like what Jay Doe said. Even fewer acting on it. You got that right, my friend. You got that right. Even fewer acting on it. Even the ones that do know it. What do they say? Knowledge is having a piece of information. Wisdom is using it. Right. So, I
think it's such a special time now. At the end of the year, you can make a decision. Like for me, I know my things. I know I've got to deal with my book and different marketing strategies we're going to be implementing and deploying. So now I wanted to bring you on. Obviously, we got some goodies for y'all too. Make a switch. Decide. Upgrade your operating system to 2023. Mike, let me ask you, dude. So I train my brain. Like if I want a new output, I'm sorry, like a new thing to change in my life, I know I'm like, Chris, I have to change what the hell I'm doing right now. I cannot do the same thing that I've been doing yesterday, today. And I almost have to train my mind on that. What do you do, man, to say, because you're a master at just implementation?
Yeah. Yeah. The mindset shift is really about four things. To getting your mindset shifted ready for this, it's about four things. Number one, it's about your environment. You got to
Oh
shift your
man,
environment. If you're hanging out with the same broke people, you're going to get the same broke ideas. And I'm
get rid
not
of them.
saying that to be mean to your friends or hurt you. I'm saying that because I'm just telling you, if you look around and you're the richest person in the room, you ain't going
Move.
to probably grow from that. Right.
You saying that
And
with
so,
love, though, right? I mean, I feel like that's when I
absolutely.
hear that, I'm telling me you're loving on me, telling me that.
Absolutely. And I just don't want anybody, thinking that rich doesn't mean your personal value, but if you want your income to go up, you have to start hanging out with people that have bigger ideas than you do. And
Yeah.
so you got to get in a better room, right? That's number one. The
Period.
old statement of most people don't find $1 million ideas at the bar. That's the old statement that my coach used to say. And I'm not saying don't go to the bar and have some fun. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is you got to get in the rooms where the good ideas are. So number one is environment. Number two is you got to start washing out your brain. You got to start brainwashing yourself in a good way. You got to start washing out the junk that's accumulated over the years. For example, many of us have been programmed negatively about money. For example, I don't know about you, but I heard money doesn't grow on trees. How many of y'all ever heard that phrase? Money doesn't grow on trees. I heard that growing up. Money doesn't grow on trees. Here's what I found out. Money doesn't grow on trees if you own the wrong kind of trees. An apple farmer believes it grows on trees. And so here's what I learned. Multifamily real estate grows money every single month. Boom. It sprouts money every single month. It does grow on trees. You just got to own the right trees.
I love it.
And so the point is you got to shift that mindset. So number two, we got to brainwash, and you wash out your brain out by reading, podcasts, etc.
Because you can't rebuke mama that tells you that. A lot of us, they told me that growing up, them to go on trees, da da da. You can't say no, mama. So I think we've been programmed over the years, Mike.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I don't want people to think that just friends program you. Shit, your family might be the programming. No disrespect.
I hate to tell you, but the reason they call TV programs or programming is because there's a lot of it there, friends. Mm-hmm. You start watching TV, you're going to start getting programmed, right? So there's a programming going on. You can't let your head get programmed by negativity. You want to be depressed, man. Watch the news for 2 weeks straight. Whew.
Yeah,
it'll just tear your mind up, right? Yeah. And it'll tear your mind up. Number three is you got to have direct mentorship. So you got to have somebody pouring into your life directly, like helping you as a coach. No greatness came from people with no coaches. You got to have some sort of mentor or coach or guide. And then the fourth thing is you got to try stuff. You got to act. You got to go out and try it and fail and try it and fail and then try it. Oh, that worked. Great. You just got to keep trying it. Those are the four things you got to shift your mindset. So Chris, that's what I've been working on. And I want to make sure y'all know I got a lot of work to do, man. This head still needs a lot of rearranging. So it's a lifelong pursuit.
Always learning, brother.
Always learning.
It's a rough, in my opinion, it is a sobering thought. I mean, even when I have a big win, I'm like, if y'all only knew how much further I have to go, it's sobering to realize that you're never there. You're never like,
absolutely.
I just,
Absolutely. And so when you come to this, like bigger, especially bigger deals, you start thinking about, bigger deals, it takes that mindset shift, like you said, Chris. And I'll bet you going from a $60,000 flip to going to a $300,000-$400,000 like you do sometimes now, man. That's mindset shift, right?
Huge.
Yeah, right.
Huge.
I mean,
big jump.
And that's a big jump. So when you start thinking bigger, then you can start thinking, oh, I'm buying one building, but it has 4 tenants in it, not one. That's a mindset shift. I've collected 4 checks a month, not one. That's a mindset shift. So you have to at least first be open to your mind being shifted and getting the information you need to get you there. And there's a lot of things we need. We need to find deals. We need to find money. We need to build a team. We need to know how to analyze deals, all that. We'll talk about that. But understanding getting to there is first. Chris is 100% right. We got to tweak this bad boy.
So, I love it.
All
If you're
righty.
just joining us, y'all, Mike's getting the stuff together here. We are here, New Year's special. One more day in 2022. Man, 2 more days. What are you going to do differently, y'all? Put it in the chat down there. What are you going to do differently? And we can maybe go over some of that stuff, round up, homies. Mike is talking about multifamily investing. He's been doing it for years. He's got hundreds of doors. Pulling back the secrets today to show you how has he done it and what is he doing right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Chris, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if you're cool
Ready?
with that.
Yep.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So tell me when you can see it, my friend.
We're ready.
All righty. So I'm going to walk you through how to successfully buy multifamily assets without experience and your own money. Because one of the misnomers coming in, another lie I was told about money is it takes money to make money.
Oh,
Takes
boy.
money to make money. But let me remind you, it doesn't necessarily take your money.
They left that out.
They definitely left that out. They definitely left that out. Let me make sure I've got the right one cranking here for you all. No, I do not.
I'll
There
pull
we
you
go.
off. You can go ahead.
Yeah, I
Don't
pulled
forget
up
it's a
the wrong-
holiday, y'all. We're all trying to make sure
I pulled up the wrong one on y'all. There we go. Let me just.
we're all still getting back together. What you been eating, Mike? You have a big old Christmas dinner and all
No,
that stuff.
dude, actually, I've got I hired a health coach this year, speaking of coaches, and he's got me on this challenge where I got to keep my diet in line over
Good.
the holidays, man.
Good for you.
I just
All right.
I can't run crazy. I want to, but I can't run crazy.
This the right one
And
here?
so- what's that?
It's the right slide. You keep going. You keep
Yeah,
talking. Is
that's
this right?
one,
Okay.
this one.
All right.
So again, it does not have to be your money, but you do need to, you don't have to have experience, but you do have to have the information. So there's a difference. Experience is I've done it. Information is I know how to do it. And we have to know how to do it, but we don't necessarily have to have done it before. Because I don't know if you know this, but every person that bought a piece of real estate, they had to start with their first one.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to tell you today. You got to start with your first one. But my goal in the next few minutes here is I'm going to lay out a 71, I call it a 71-day game. It's a process of how you can locate and get a property under contract, a multifamily deal in 71 days, so you can win in 2023. Now, if you put this into practice and you do what I tell you to do what I tell you to do today, you're going to be set up for success. When I first learned this system, it took me 71 days to get a property under contract.
Sweet.
And I just want to teach what I did. It's nothing special. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to throw a power tip at you that can help you find great properties fast. This is like a golden power tip of finding deals. So Chris, I'm going to ask you to help remind me to teach people how to find good deals
Cool.
at the end. All right.
All right.
Don't let me forget. Don't let me forget. So if you stay, I'll teach you how to find really good properties fast. And this is hot off the press because we just closed a deal November. So this is stuff we still use today. This is not outdated information. Sometimes when people teach this stuff, they stop doing it.
Yep.
And Chris and I are both, and you know, Chris, people like that. They're great coaches and they teach great strategies that worked in 2007. You know what I mean? And or 2000 or 1998 even sometimes. I'm like, holy smokes.
Practitioners. I pride myself of being a practitioner, and you too.
Absolutely. You got to do this stuff. You got to do it. And we do. And so we just closed a deal, like I said, last month using these exact strategies. Just a little bit about me. I've raised almost 20 million, just over 20 million in capital placed in the last 17 months, 450 doors, hundreds of thousands in acquisition fees. And I founded a multifamily blueprint academy because I just want to help people with this information. Remember, it's not a secret, but a lot of people don't know it. It's crazy how many people don't know this stuff. And so I've had the privilege of doing a lot of things right, but here's what I want to encourage you. I have done a lot wrong. Because a lot of times, I don't know about you, Chris, but when I first start, sometimes people are scared to get started in fears that they will do something wrong.
Yeah, you gotta be so. Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, I'm gonna encourage you. You're gonna, you're going to, you're gonna do. Yeah, get over it, right? Yeah, Chris is doing some tough love there. It's gonna happen. You are going to mess up and screw something up, and I will tell you firsthand, that's not an easy thing to swallow. But you cannot build true passive income, have generational wealth, impact your kids, your nieces, your nephews, generations to come without making a few mistakes. No successful person got there in any category without tripping, right?
Nope.
You think about, Chris mentioned sports. Sometimes I'll use sports analogies, sometimes I won't, but I always think about in baseball, a person that hits the ball 3 out of 10 times gets into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's something.
Isn't that crazy? 3 out of 10 times. A 3-point shooter in basketball that hits 3 to 4 3-pointers out of 10 gets into the Hall of Fame. It's insane. So when you look at this, you start seeing that, it's not about doing it right every time. It's about understanding the process and learning. So be gracious with yourself, be willing to try new things, be willing to shift that mindset and say, I'm ready. So, but after doing this for 3 years, there's a map, and it's really pointless to use your own money. You don't have to. I've discovered you can hold on to your own money and help other people place money that want to get into real estate, but don't want to learn all this. See, you're here today. You're here learning all this. A lot of people don't want to come learn this. They want you to come learn it, and they just want to give you their money and say, go invest it for them. Ain't that right, Chris?
You'd be surprised how many people out there do not want to, or maybe they don't even have to have the time to learn this stuff, and they would be happy to work with you.
Yeah, we got an investor who's a surgeon. You think he's got time to go learn all this stuff, man? He doesn't have time to do all this stuff. So that's good news. That's a win-win. We can help him get into real estate or her get into real estate without having to learn this stuff. And that's the value you bring. You're learning. And it is a lot easier than people think if you do the right thing. But I did not do it the easy way. I discovered this the hard way. You get to cheat. Today you're going to get to cheat and get the easy way, because I'm going to tell you, because I've done it the hard way. Chris and I were just talking before we got on this call. The hard way is, we all learned this stuff the hard way, but we want to give it to you so you don't have to make the same crazy, stupid mistakes I did. Mm-hmm. So for example, when I first started, I saved up the down payment. I looked for a property that fits my budget. I purchased something close to home because I wanted to be able to look over it. And then I self-managed the property, meaning anytime a tenant had a toilet break, they called Mike, and I went over and fixed it and whatever. And I'm telling you, that's not the easy way. That's the hard way. That comes different from, I don't put my own money down. I don't have to find a property that meets my money because I'm using other people's money. I purchase properties all throughout the country where I don't live. In fact, I don't own any properties where I do live other than my own residence, and I don't manage any of them. So now the easy way is everything different from when I used to do it. I changed it all because it's not the easy way, I'm telling you. But the easy way allows you to skip all that and get results. So in the past 17 months, I found that you don't have to do that. But I always say this, results are not typical, because most people aren't willing to take action. Now you get to decide tonight. And again, I'll throw a little tough love at you. You get to decide tonight if you're an action taker or if you're an information taker.
Oh boy, that hurt a little bit right there.
Yeah. So you either learn or you either learn and then you learn, or you learn and then you do. See, a lot of people are looking for the next podcast. They're looking for the next YouTube video. And believe me, Chris and I are fanatics about taking in information, but it's like a sponge. You ever soak a sponge up and get it all wet? And it comes to a point where you can't soak anything up because the sponge is full. What do you need to do? You wring it out. Then you can go back up and soak up more water. It's the same thing. You got to go wring out the information you learned, then come back and get more. Right?
Oh, man. You're hurting somebody tonight, Mike. I don't know if they're ready to hear that one, brother. It's easy to just suck it all up. It's easy to just, boom, more new book, do this, do that.
It is, dude. It very much is. And it's because, I'm going to give you a little side note. Listening to information gives you the illusion that you're taking action. It makes you think you're doing something. When in action, nobody ever bought real estate by watching a YouTube video. They bought real estate by taking that information and going and implementing it. And so it tricks your mind into thinking that you're taking action. And in fact, there's still another step to take. So here's 3 secrets I'll walk you through. And again, if there's questions coming in, we'll hit those.
Yeah, put the questions, y'all, please. As Mike's going, multifamily questions. This is Mike's show tonight, y'all. I'm just here. I am ushering the what do they call it? I'm bringing in the people for the pews. Mike has discernment. I'm telling you, man. This man knows what he's talking about. I've been to his real estate.
Oh man, I tell you, man, bringing some church analogies and I'm loving it.
I'm telling
Secret
you.
number one, we've got to focus on what moves the needle. See, a lot of times when people walk away from trainings, they focus on the wrong things, but they do the wrong things really well. And when you do the wrong things well, you still get no results. And I want to help you focus on what actually moves the needle. And then the second secret is speed wins. Speed wins. I'm going to talk about that tonight, but I'm telling you, speed wins. And number three, you have no idea of the power of partnerships in this game.
Strategic partnerships.
Oh, man. But it is your time. It's your time. If you're ready for these secrets, throw in the chat. Let us know that you're ready, because I'm going to hit these 3 secrets and walk you through a little bit of why these things and how they can shape you to get your first or next multifamily. Because maybe some of you have a multifamily deal, but you want to start scaling. Okay, that's where I was. My wife and I had a couple duplexes and 3 units, and we were ready to go up and start getting more faster, but we needed a system, right? Or maybe some of you are like, I've done some single family, but this really looks interesting. I want to move here. Or maybe you haven't done a deal yet and you're like, I want to start here. Either way, no matter where you're at, it's time to get going. So the first thing we have to focus on is what moves the needle. Focus on what moves the needle. This is a deal I did in 2000. I think this was 2000. Yes, 2000. 2000, this was a deal I did, and we closed a very, very beautiful, this is a 6-unit luxury apartment building in South Bend, Indiana, right next to Notre Dame, the college. And we have great tenants in there, but it's a really, really pretty building. But let me tell you, searching the MLS and analyzing deals and setting goals, and guess what? I still had no success. So I was looking on the MLS for deals, and I was analyzing those deals, and I was seeing if the numbers work, and I was setting goals. Oh, my goal is to get this deal. But guess what? There was still no success. Because what most people do, what most people tell you to focus on, it just doesn't work. But then it hit me. The word broker in this category, it means a commercial real estate agent. It's a real estate agent that has these multifamily real estate deals. And I thought, wait, brokers have deals. They have the deals. So instead of going around and trying to find deals, what if I just went to the person that had multiple before they hit the MLS? And that's how I found this deal. So I had a broker that knew about this deal before it even was on the realtor.com MLS kind of sites. It didn't even get there yet. And that's how I found this deal. So
Mike, you said you bought this in 2000? I thought you bought this. You've owned this house. Okay, that's a while ago.
Yeah, 2000 I bought this building.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. 2020. 2020. He said 2000. He's like, you didn't buy 2000. No, 2020. I'm sorry. 2020.
Okay.
2020, not 220.
2020.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I'm like, you just bought that.
No.
All right.
2020. So I locked in this 6 unit, and but here's the problem. I got it under contract. And I'm like, awesome, got my first deal. But guess what? It was under contract, but I needed $200,000 and I didn't have it. I needed $200,000. I'm like, okay, what do I do now? I was so upset. I've been focusing on everything, but it didn't matter. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. I kept asking myself, why did not anyone tell me this? Because most people don't really know what works. There's less for them. So so what I want y'all to see is when I went after this deal, I found out that what moves the needle is 2 things: finding deals, finding money. We already dropped it. You find deals through brokers, you find monies through investors. You really want to move the needle in 2023. That's where you got to focus. You got to focus on deals, money. Stop focusing on all the noise. That's where you got to focus on. Deals, money. So with deals, you got to know, okay, what markets to invest in? Where should I invest? How to get deals in that market? Then you got to know, how do you present that to an investor? That's what moves the needle. Let's stop focusing on all the noise and just deals. Cool? But the reason people didn't tell me about it is they didn't really know. They were running around as well. And brokers and money is really where it's at. So I want you to write that down, right? Brokers, money, deals, money. Then the second thing I realized was speed wins. Speed wins. Your ability, I want you to all think about this for a minute, and I want you to understand your income, and I'm going to repeat this phrase, your income will be directly proportionate to the distance from when you learn something to when you do something.
Implementation.
Exactly. So let's say you learned something a year ago and you did it a year later. So your income is X. If you want your income to go up, just shorten that time frame. Do it inside of 30 days from when you learn it. If you want your income to go up, you want your income to go down, elongate that, make it 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You want it to go up, make it 30 days. So anytime you want your income to go up, you shorten your implementation period of when you learn it to when you do it. Does that make sense? Implementation
is the key.
It is. But I want to tell you something. Speed has cost me and made me more than anything. Because I do things quickly, I make a lot more mistakes than people do. But as my coach recently reminded me, is I feel like I'm failing a lot more than other people. And he said, when most people are failing over 10 years, you've just squashed it down into a year because you're implementing quicker. You know, one of the phrases of Walmart, we fail faster. We fail faster. Sam Walton said that. Our goal is to fail faster so we can get to the success faster. And so, speed wins. Speed wins.
I don't know about you and my roundup homies. I was taught all my life, slow. Don't do anything fast. Don't try to get rich quick. Go to work, put your time in, work hard, earn your dollar. Go to harder and what was it? Harder and a hard day's work for a day's pay or some mess. I just feel like it was ingrained and just beat in my head, Mike, and I'm presuming my community's head too. How was your upbringing? Were your peeps talking about fast money? Like, yo, we need to make this money fast. It was almost like that was the drug dealer way.
Yeah, totally. Totally. So, but I was not taught to implement anything at any speed. The only thing that, when you think about growing up, what dictates how fast you do something? Think about you as a kid. Me is deadlines. If I had a homework assignment due, I had to do it that day. If I had practice, I had to show up at certain time. So deadlines are the only thing that dictated speed. So what happens when you're an adult and you have no deadlines on your own success?
You're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Exactly. The moment speed, knowledge, and procrastination cost me over $1 million. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a fake story. This is actually an 18-unit building. In 2008, my wife and I walked in a little town called Schoolcraft, Michigan. That's where we lived, or just a little bit away from where we lived. We went and walked this property. It's called Eagles Landing. And this 18 unit in the crash was being sold for $184,000. 184 grand. And for 18 units. And we could not get a loan because back in that day, we had to have 20% down. What's 20% of 184? It's like, what, 37,000 or something like that? And I had to have 37,000. And I don't know about you, Chris, but I didn't know how to raise $37,000. I'm like, and I remember saying this to my wife. I remember saying, who in the world has $34,000 just sitting in the bank? Now you got to remember, I was a teacher at the time making I was a teacher making $37,000 of pre-tax income, meaning I was probably bringing home $2,500 a month. I was killing
for the year.
For the year, baby. And so I tell you all that to say I couldn't do this deal, so we passed on it. In 2019, this was just over 10 years later. This property sold for $1.3 million.
Oh my Lord.
Over $1 million it cost me because I didn't know how to raise 37 grand. I wasn't fast enough. Somebody else was implementing it. I wasn't. Instead of when I heard, oh, the money is gone, or I can't raise the money. When I thought about that, I just thought, oh, well, I can't do it. Instead of asking this question, well, how can I? How can I find that money? Yeah. How can I? Right? Remember that our one of our favorite books, Chris, what was it? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Remember that? Mm-hmm. In that book, when Robert Kiyosaki said, you never say, why can't I afford that? You always say, how can I? Right?
Yeah.
And I never asked myself that question. How can I raise that money? How can my wife and I find that? And because I didn't, We didn't. And we lost a lot of money because we just weren't fast enough. And so I tell you that today. I don't want any of you to experience this, but I also want you to have the information you need. So please don't let that happen to you. But here's what I've realized. Most people, please hear me when I say this. I love you enough to say most people are not willing to do what it takes. Most people are not. Now, I think you are. You're here tonight. I think you're amongst the people that may be willing to do what it takes. But most people aren't.
They are.
It sets us apart. You know what I mean? Chris, you see that all the time. People call you up, maybe want to have a consultation with you, and you talk to them, and they just don't want to do anything. They just don't want to get it done. You know what I mean?
It's challenging. I don't want people to think that, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Exactly. Oh, you better believe that. But once you know what to focus on, you can do that at a speed that gets results. So think about it. Once you know what the bullseye is, find deals, find money, it's like a battering ram. You just keep hitting it until it moves forward. Two things, deals and money. You don't have to worry about all the noise that everybody's talking. What about the interest rates? What about this? You just got to find deals, find money. Yeah. Don't worry about all the noise. The economy's going down. Every single investor that is good has always been able to make money in real estate in any economy. And this is why we teach this stuff. It doesn't matter what. Yeah. But this is what it really does, though, is understanding. I just want to let you know, there's no verse in the Bible that when Jesus talks about when you knowledge brings responsibility. And
that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. And I don't want to bring the heat too heavy tonight, but just to let you know, when you do know what to do, it removes the excuses. It removes the excuses, because that's what we want to do. I want to remove those excuses for you, because I'll tell you what, it's not until you remove your excuses till you get really real about what you want and why you're not where you want to be. And that's what we want to do with multifamily. I want to get you there, right? But it also gives me massive hope. When you know what to do, now I have hope. Zig Ziglar used to say, people without hope will not change. They won't even try to change because there's no hope. And this gives you hope. You can start doing this. So stop thinking, don't look at your family history or the fact that your parents never had real estate or maybe even never owned their own home. Don't look at that. That's not what matters in getting your own real estate, right? You know, some of you may have gone to college. You were the very first person in your family to go to school, right? And but you can be the very first person to get in a multifamily as well. That's you. But people don't go into real estate to own properties. They do so to have a life of freedom. Have a life of freedom. So a lot of people want to know, why do I do this? What's in it? What's in this for me? This is my why here. You have my beautiful bride on the left and my nephews that I get to live my life with. And this is why I do what I do. But one of the reasons you got to get real about why you're in real estate. What do you want out of this? You want to give money to your kids. You want to build generational wealth. You want to be the first person in your family to do X. What is your driver? Because once you get that down, it makes it so much easier once you hit the hiccups. Okay. Chris, I know when you and I talk about this, you find that powerful why. Chris posts a lot about his family because that's a big, powerful why, right? It's why we do this.
Yeah, I'm irrelevant almost. I'm like, shoot, I'm just trying to figure out how to make it all put it all together.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And secret 3. So the first one, remember, we gotta speed wins. We gotta understand, focus on what moves the needle. Secret 3, we gotta partner up. Partnerships drive everything. Now, the hot water I got myself in is I needed money fast. Remember back, I talked about that 6 unit. I needed that $200,000 and I needed it quickly and I didn't have it. I didn't know about it. So what I did is I partnered with a money raiser. I partnered with somebody who had the capital and then knew some people who knew some other people that had capital. So I started calling around and I started calling to people. I went to my trusty little device called my phone and I started calling people. Hey, who do you know? Who do you know? Do you know anybody who wants to invest in real estate? But you might say, but I can't get loans. Guess what? You can partner with people that can get loans. Do you know that? I do that. There's deals we do that are big enough where I can't get the loan on my own. I just bring other people in that can. Or you can't find deals. Guess what you can do? You can partner up, people that have deals. Let's say you need boots on the ground. Chris mentioned somebody on my team that works on one of our properties. He's our boots on the ground. He actually lives there and stays in the property.
That's really cool.
Or maybe you can't raise the money. You can actually partner with people that do raise money. I have people that come to me all the time. Hey, Mike, I've got a deal in the team. Do you want to go raise the capital and you come in and we have an equity split or whatever? You can actually partner with people that raise capital. There's nothing. So here's how you think about real estate. What do I know how to do? What can't I really do? You partner on the things you can't do. Does that make sense? This is what John White did. John White was one of the clients in the academy a couple last year, and he locked in a 24 unit, raised 275 grand with a broker, 24 units under contract, Cincinnati, Ohio. He raised 275. He made $25,000 when he closed, of course, plus the cash flow. And so this is what you can do. And he didn't use any of his own money. What's the return on investment if you don't put in any of your own money?
Infinite.
Infinite, baby. That's right. There's his property that he locked in, that 24 units. Is beautiful little property.
Where is that one at, Mike?
Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio. Good little market, by the way, if you're looking for a good multifamily market. Cincinnati, Ohio. Good rental market. A lot of good tenants there. So it's a good market. But think about getting paid every time you close down a deal and create passive income. This is what Chris and I talk about every now and then, about something we call an acquisition fee, where you can actually charge to do these deals. I charge for every deal I do.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've talked to you. We can't cover everything in multifamily in 1 hour, but what I have talked to you about is the 3 things you need to do. You need to focus on what moves the needle. You need to speed up your action, and you need to partner up. Those are the 3 things we got to do. So what Chris and I did, what Chris and I did is we put together a cool thing for New Year's for you all. Chris, you okay if I go over this, brother?
Yeah, hit it real quick. I got questions about, I want to know location, all that stuff. Well, go ahead. Yeah, man.
Let's do that first. We'll come back.
We can't, well, we got a few more minutes. Why is it that you don't invest where you live? I mean, just give me the mindset, because I know some people are like, man, I'm like out of state. Oh, God.
Yeah, no, I hear you there. So first of all, you have to think about, when you think about where you live, some of you may not live in areas where you should be investing in multifamily real estate. So it's not that I don't invest where I live because I'm against it. It's that when I was living in Michigan, that's not the best market to invest in.
So it's not conducive for what you're doing.
Exactly. So you want to go. And when I look at my market where I live, that shuts me off to most of the world's opportunities. So if I'm only looking at where I live, so I started looking at other cities that have better appreciation, better rents, better tenants, better areas. And I started looking at these different areas, and I'm realizing, oh, that's where I want to invest in, whether I live there or not. Now, when I moved to Phoenix, part of the reason I haven't invested in Phoenix is not because it's not a great market. It's actually a phenomenal market. It's just overpriced. I want to see the prices come down before I put money into this market. It's just too inflated at this point. And so, again, that makes it not the best market to be in. So you want to be in the right markets. And so it doesn't, if you lived in Cincinnati, Ohio, I'd be saying invest where you live, baby. Stay right there. If you lived in Columbus, I'd be saying invest. Indianapolis, invest. Louisville, invest. Nashville, go in. If you lived in one of those power markets, I'd be saying go. But you want to be careful. Don't invest where you live just because you live there. You know what I mean?
So it wasn't, I just want to make sure I didn't understand. You don't invest where you live. It's not just because you live there. I mean, it's certain criteria that you're looking for that just don't happen to fit in where you live.
Bingo. It has nothing to do with I'm against it. It has everything to do with I just want to be in the best markets no matter where I live.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, that's a good question though, Chris. That's a good question, because I think everybody needs to understand when you're coming into multifamily, when you're in a fix and flip, when you're fixing and flipping and wholesaling properties, you can do that anywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. You just need to buy it, sell it high. Mm-hmm. But when you're banking on long-term hold, where your rents and banking on rents going up so that your value of your property goes up over time, when you're banking on that, you need to be in markets where there's people moving there, where there's jobs, where there's enough places to support tenants. You need to think about a lot of that stuff. And so long-term buy and hold projects like multifamily or others, or even single family long-term, you want to make sure you're in a market that's attractive for people to move to.
So let me just reintroduce you one more time. We're right here at 45 minutes. Mike, we're going to do some Q&A. I cannot wait for quick Q&A. We got a bunch of questions over there. This is Mike Fritz, multifamily investing. He's got some good New Year's goodies for my roundup homies. Mike, you want to share what you got? Then we'll get the Q&A.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So Chris and I met last week and we put together a cool New Year's offer for you all. Just a special deal. I have loads of goodies in this thing for you all. I mean, I'm telling you what, I have never offered my Multifamily Blueprint Academy, which is my pinnacle product, for what Chris and I are gonna allow you to come into it for. I've never done this. And so the Academy is literally over 30 videos of rich content of where to find deals, how to talk to investors, how to pitch investors. There's actually a video in there of me actually pitching to investors so you can see what that looks like.
Sweet.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah, you are going to get. So let me walk through just a couple things. The first thing you're going to get is the entire Academy. You're going to get the entire Academy, which is over 30 videos, and you're going to be able to rock that that specific product for life. There's no renewal fee. You're going to be able to rock that Academy. So not only that, but I'm also going to give you lifetime access to seller financing secrets. This is a product that I provide that gives you the ability to start doing seller financing with your sellers. And let me tell you, Chris and I have talked a lot about this, but with interest rates going up, the amount of seller financing deals that are out there go up. Isn't that right, Chris?
Man, big phone. I'm telling you, I got one guy calling me. People will beg you to buy their house because you have the strategy and the skill to do it, or even multifamily too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Seller financing is it's going to visit all assets, because think about it. When bank interest rates go up, people start looking, well, heck, I can sell it for a good interest rate to you and still make money on this without having to figure out where to put my money. And so they're going to start looking at that. So this is going to be a really important product to have as the interest rates go up. And so you'll get lifetime access to seller financing secrets. So not only that, but I'm also going to throw in my multifamily deal analyzer. I also mentioned, you heard me mention tonight, you get a deal, you got to analyze it. How do you know what numbers to put in and where to put the numbers, and making sure there's income, expenses, and all that stuff? Well, I've put together a tool, and you get that to make sure that you can evaluate the deals properly.
Sweet.
Right? So you're going to get that as well.
Is that like an Excel thing? They just plug it in and put, okay.
There's a Mac and a PC version.
PC. Okay.
And you can literally, you plug your numbers in and it'll tell you your return on investment. So all those little green things you see, that's just the numbers you'll need to input, and all the white numbers it'll spit out is what your actual return is. So this is a tool I created to make sure that you can evaluate your deals. Is
that the analyzer? I know, and when we're meeting with our inner circle members, I hear you say, did you run it in there? They put that in there first before we go over it?
Before we even go in. In fact, I just saw one of our inner circle members just posted this, their analyzer to our inner circle Facebook group. And so when Chris and I won't evaluate your deal unless you analyze it in our inner circle, so we know what we're actually looking at. Somebody just sends us pictures. What do you think of this deal? And we're like, we don't know. We got to see the numbers. So this allows you to put the numbers in and then actually see if the deal's worth it. Because we always say this, real estate's it's pretty non-emotional. The numbers kind of tell us what to do.
Emotion. Let's stay there for a minute, Mike, because I don't want. One of my biggest pet peeves, which I don't have a lot. People say, "I got this house. It's a 3-bedroom, whatever it is. What do you think?"
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. People are like, I mean, and I get it.
4-bedroom, 4-family house, 10 unit. I'm like, I don't care.
I have zero desire. I have zero emotional connection to bricks, shingles, doors, and windows. I don't know.
God.
But I will tell you this, and Chris will tell you this even more than I, the people we buy them from do.
Yeah.
Right. And so we got to almost curb our lack of emotion to a deal, but that almost helps you get it done. Is you just, hey, I don't really care if I get this deal. I just want to see if it's a win-win.
Oh, God.
It brings a lot more deals. Your analyzer helps you do that.
If you don't see this is Mike, this is the offer here too. You might have to refresh your screen if you don't see it below, guys. Go ahead.
Oh, hang on. You can't see it?
No, I mean sometimes people come on late and it doesn't.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Refresh your screen. That's good point. So not only the Multifamily Blueprint Academy, Seller Financing Secrets, you get the deal analyzer. I'm also going to throw in my personal pitch deck. This thing is crazy because it's my PowerPoint presentation that I use to share with investors. So this is a PowerPoint. You go in, you pull my picture off, my logo off. You can put your own stuff in, write up all your own stuff, and you can actually share your deals with your investors. This right here took me months and months to build, and I've spent a long time refining it.
You gotta have one. When you meet with people with big dollars and big buildings like
Oh,
this, and you ain't got nothing to leave or nothing to show them, they don't even take
oh
you serious. I wouldn't. Wow. I
no.
mean, what you got?
Yeah, that's so true. I remember my biggest mistake is one of my first investors I ever met with, $450,000 investor, might have been I think it's $400,000 investor. I sat with them, great meeting. Got to the end of the meeting. As I stood up to walk out, he said, "Hey, just leave your stuff with my assistant and I'll get back with you." The problem was I didn't have stuff. I didn't even know what stuff was, right? I didn't know what do you mean stuff? When he said that, my heart sank. I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure. I'll leave the stuff." I don't know what this stuff is. I didn't have anything. And it cost me an
Got
investor because he's
nothing.
like, "Dude, I'm not giving you 400 grand. You don't even know what you're doing."
Ain't got no
And
stuff.
so, no, this stuff helps you really look the part. And so, not only the pitch deck as well, but that value alone, as these things have sold separately, are just under 7K. But a lot of people always ask, "Okay, Mike, that's fine. I see it's worked for people, but who is this really work for?" People that are using this product, number one, it's everyday people. They have 9 to 5 jobs. Some are busy entrepreneurs, but it really is people that are willing to bet on themselves and implement the content. That's really who it works for. Because if you are not willing to do the work, it ain't going to work. I'm just going to be straight up. It ain't going to work for you, right? This is Essie Taylor. She's in our inner circle. Her and her husband just bought an 11 unit and an 8 unit using the Academy this year. And then they just bought an Airbnb. They're renovating that right now. So they've done 3 deals of investing this year with in the last year using this system. So not only are you going to get the pitch deck, as mentioned, I'm going to throw in a couple bonuses. One bonus, I do a live interview with Nate Armstrong. Nate Armstrong's a buddy of Chris and I, and he teaches people. This is only these bonuses are just for the first 30 people, though. These bonuses I'm sharing here. If you want to lock in, we want to say good job to our decisive decision makers tonight. He's going to teach you how. Yeah, absolutely. He's going to teach you how to use social media to find deals. And he's fantastic at finding deals with social media. He's the best I've ever seen, actually. And he's going to teach you in that interview. I go through and he walks through how to structure your Facebook group, how to structure what kind of ads you run, what does it say, what do you set your ad, what name do you put on the face, all the things you need to know to start leveraging social media to find deals. And by the way, this is for any kind of deal, not just multifamily, for anything you want to find. And I also give a couple other exclusive interviews. One is with Mike Wolf, who's going to talk about tax deed auctions, how to buy properties at the tax auction. Bo Eckstein is my loan broker. And then Kevin Clayson is another interview I do, which is a turnkey real estate guy talking about how to leverage money and buy turnkey real estate. So lots of interviews for the first. That says 20. It's actually for the first 30 people. If you want to lock in.
Thank you, Mike.
So these exclusive. Absolutely, brother. So, but think about this for a minute. If you locked in your spot and it just made you just won $20,000 fee in acquisitions, would it be worth it? Of course it would. So the question for you is, are you ready to run? Are you ready to do this content? Or what if it created $2,000 a month in passive income? Because one single property can do that if you do this the right way. Or just help you get one deal this year. Would it be worth it? What is passive? One deal. This is what I love about real estate. Chris and I talk about this all the time. One deal can change your whole family's financial.
Change your zip code. Yep. Get you out of wherever you live. I promise you. It did me.
You got that right. Yeah, absolutely. One deal, right? Can change where you live. 2,000 a month, 5, 10, 20. It doesn't matter the number, but the question is, what would you be able to get with that? What would you be able to get in your life? What would your life look like? Would you be able to not miss kid stuff, go to games, go do the things that you truly love, go do whatever it is you love to do? You can see why others pay almost $20,000 to coach with us one-on-one, because one deal makes them that and more. So if you were to implement this information, get the same results as other students, what would your life be like? So you can see why it's a good deal at 5K. And we sell this for $2,000 to the general public, this offer many times. But because you are Chris's Roundup, we're going to give this entire thing to y'all this year for $397, like Sweet. Everything.
Thank you, Mike.
I've never made this offer before, so we're gonna give it to y'all for $397.
Yeah, I've been asking you to do. We're supposed to have it ready for thing. I'm to be honest with y'all. Know I'm an open book. I asked him to do this for Black Friday. There's so much stuff in here. It couldn't get it done, right? So
Mike, I didn't want to do it. I'm like, Chris, I don't want to give all this stuff away for this, but I really do. As we began to talk, and Chris wore me down in a good way. We put this thing together, and so if you want to lock in all of the stuff we mentioned today, you're going to get it for $397. Does have a timetable on. You got to lock in by midnight, January 1st, or that goes. But I am gonna throw in a couple other things just to sweeten the pot for you all. I'm going to throw in the multifamily workbook that goes along with the Multifamily Blueprint Academy. So when you go along, you can start taking notes. It's your own personalized workbook. And that was on a different. But I also have a guarantee that if you don't like it, I'll give you a 30-day guarantee. You go through this content, and if you don't think you can use it to get multifamily real estate, I'll give you your money back. I don't want your money. I want your impact. Mm-hmm. So if you come in and in day 29, 23 hours, 59 seconds, you're like, no, thanks. I'm done. All right. Let me know. I'll give you your money back. It's not this isn't us trying to get it. We're really just trying to help people. And so I don't want you to keep your money if you don't think this can impact you and your family. Right. But the real question is this: is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check it out? Which, if it does even half of what it's claiming, it's going to pay for itself and more. So I have one quick. So that link is, Chris, is that link up where they can at least see it?
Yeah. Well, you have to go to the video description, y'all. It's right there below. All you have to do when you're ready to get signed up. This will end the first of the year. So I convinced Mike to give this to my roundup homies. For this price, obviously he's not making but so much on this. We have other fees we have to pay out. So round up homies, I'm here to tell y'all, man, I am always in the field needling, trying to get trainers, coaches, and people, practitioners to give my round up homies an incredible deal. And this is what it is, and you won't see it anywhere else. And it's just time for you to deploy and implement this stuff for 2023. You're just not going to.
And you will go to. When you click on that link, you go to the page, you will see Chris there. Like, this is called the Roundup offer. I am not offering this anywhere else, literally. Chris is on the image. There is nobody else getting this deal. So you can't go anywhere else and get it. So you can thank your pilot tonight for that.
Yeah, that's right. Thank the pilot. Maybe I could give me a thumbs up for that, y'all.
Yeah, give him the thumbs up. Make sure you're joining the channel.
We got Q&A now, or we got something else?
Absolutely. Let's hear some Q&A.
So the Savvy African, I love that smile there. Been trying to find 100 doors, no matter what. I'm not being approved for this. What am I missing? Should she be looking for a specific amount of doors, Mike, or what? Is she looking at that wrong? I don't know.
So I have learned. My wife actually corrects me on this all the time. When I was a speaker, I always used to say, I want to book this many gigs next year. I want to book 10 gigs at $1,000, or my wife would always say, is that what you want? Or would you take one gig for $10,000? And what it forced me to do was actually ask the question, is it a revenue goal or is it a unit goal? So is your goal to make a certain number of revenue or to get 100 doors? What if because sometimes I will tell you, I have a deal right now. It's a 16 unit deal. I make more money on my 16 unit deal than I do on my 100 unit deal. Now, over the long haul, when we sell the 100 unit deal, I'll make more money. But cash flow right now with my property, the little 16 unit guy is doing better. So I say that to say, I wouldn't go after the unit number. I would go after the income. That's what I would go after.
Yeah, I would too.
I
think when I get stuck on, yeah, you're right, man. Because I was stuck, and it's weird how God works, the universe, whatever. My wife got me out of that too. She's like, "Are you looking for this? Or why are you always buying houses, below a certain amount?" I'm like, I don't know why. So it's the Savvy African. I think all of us get in these boxes in our lives, right? And no disrespect to anybody or whatever you're in. Just see what comes in, and then you can make that work for you, like Mike did.
And Chris, there's one thing I forgot to tell everybody that I did not put in there. I'm going to do a 4-hour workshop, multifamily workshop for anybody that buys, that locks this in tonight.
Cool.
So you're going to get to come to, you're going to get a ticket to a multifamily live workshop. It's going to be a 4-hour workshop that I do going through our 4-step system. And that date is to be determined, but it'll be in Q1 of 2023. So you'll also get a ticket to the live workshop. I forgot to mention that.
Sweet. That's in the okay. So y'all, it's in
Yep.
the video description below. Get signed up. Don't wait. Don't think. I had to train myself. I don't even think anymore. I just buy the training because I know it's going. If it adds one inkling of value, I promise you it'll be more than whatever Christmas,
Yeah.
Louis or Gucci or whatever you got under the tree or shoes. I promise y'all, yo.
Yeah.
Every
For
time a gift
real.
comes to
For
my
real.
house, I'm like, babe, all right, we spent this. How many books we buying? How much training we buying?
Yeah.
That's the Haskins rule at my house. So I don't know about everybody's house,
I
but
love it,
when
man.
yeah, man.
I love it because I think that it forces us to, even with your kids, man, think about the value they're putting on books. They see you doing that stuff. It's
Oh
so
yeah,
cool
so
because we got.
important.
I mean, what I think Alex Hermosi said, or I don't remember who said this, but a book is dollar for pound, one of the most biggest values in the world because $20 people put their information in there, right?
I love it. Yep. Closing them. Oh, where we hoop at is closing a second property this year. Good for you, brother. Or sister, I don't know. Atmosphere. I will. BL Wharton is putting it in an atmosphere. I will buy a multifamily property in 2023. That I will
Boom.
do. I have to train my kids
I
that. They
love
say,
it.
"Well, I can do. You can't. You could do anything under the
I know.
sun. What will you?" I'm like,
But
"Money,
will
what
you?
will you gonna do? What
Yeah,
will you
I
do?
love it.
Good for
I love it.
you.
I love it. I
Good for
love
you,
it.
BL. Dante, glad you're here. We're glad to have you, brother. Webinars, that's right. Don't get them webinar city. Already purchased your first multifamily, ready to scale. Christine, good, 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 good. Mike will help you with that.
Oh, good for you. Let's do
Yes, that is
this.
good. That is good.
I love it.
What we hoop at for multifamily purchase, Mike? Do you need if you get a loan, will you need to put 20% down?
Oh, good question. So if you get a loan for a multifamily, yes, you will. It depends on the kind of loan. In multifamily, there's many different loans. I talk about that in the program. But it depends on what kind of loan. Sometimes you might have to put 20%, 25, sometimes even 30%. But that's why we raise capital from other investors. We allow them to make the down payment. Yeah. Good question, though. Whoever asked that.
Good one. That was where we're hooping
Good,
at.
good. Yeah, there you
Lisa,
go.
are commercial loans a good option? First of all, what is a commercial loan? I don't even know. And then you can explain
Yep.
it.
Yeah. So commercial loans. So just so you know, in multifamily, residential is anything 4 units and below, like a 2, 3, or 4 unit.
Mhm.
Commercial, 5 units and above. Anything above five units and anything above is considered commercial. So when you do have 5 units and above, you have to go get a commercial loan. And
Got it.
a lot of people think commercial loans are harder. They're not. They're actually easier because they look at the property based on the income, not based on just you as the borrower.
Credit
Now
worthiness.
you do
That's
come in, but yeah,
That is so important. Lisa, I cannot tell you when you have asset-based lending. Obviously, Mike, he has his secrets. I don't have no idea. But when they're looking at the property, easier to make those numbers work as opposed to your history. That stuff is credit and all that stuff.
yeah,
In fact,
exactly,
we talked.
exactly.
Mike asked me about that earlier today. He's like, "Man, what?" I told Mike I've had so many foreclosures on my record from 07, 08, 09. I haven't even checked my credit since 2010. I haven't even pulled it. I need to do that.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I hear you, dude. Absolutely.
Melissa,
I'm here to
I'm
move
here
the
to move
needle.
the needle.
Boom.
Good, good, good,
Like
good.
that, Melissa. Good for you.
Jamal,
Good for you.
I knew the altar
Family, what's
call.
up?
It's not. It's a cost for your future, in my opinion. If you're willing to spend dollars on yourself, means you're ready to move forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I wish somebody would have offered me a course back before I
Oh
missed
my
out on
gosh!
on that deal. Told me how to raise. I'd have paid $300 to learn or $400 to learn all
I
that
feel
money I
so
lost.
bad. I didn't start spending money on my education until it was just. I think anyway. Yeah, my life changed when I started buying education. Just didn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Money Boy
Um,
Films. What's going on, brother? What about 1099 acquisition? For
or
what about a
10,
1099?
I'm assuming you mean 1031.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't, 1099 is a contractor form for your
Yeah, that's a
taxes. A 1031 is a real estate move where you can move money. If you're talking
yeah.
about a 1031 transaction, yes, you can do those into multifamily. Yeah, we do
Good,
those a lot.
good.
Yeah.
Meg Ventures. How much are you looking to pay Uncle Sam?
I don't like to pay him as much. I don't like to pay him a lot, but yeah, there are ways in real estate to cut that down. But I don't know that we're looking to pay him anything. But we pay him exactly what he asks us for.
Yeah, the bare minimum
Yeah,
in
bare
my
minimum.
world.
Yeah, we got to get There's a lot, and that's the benefit of real estate. Where else do you own an asset that you can depreciate on your taxes, something that appreciates in reality?
It's stupid.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, everybody ought to be in real estate just for that perspective alone.
Mike, I just think they set it up like that, and the people that are willing to walk in those shoes get those benefits, period.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, wherever it came from and why ever it was there, whatever it is, though.
It is. Thank God my people can own real estate now. So you better get out there and get you some. Round up, if you get your questions in, but if you haven't already, Mike's multifamily blueprint is in the video description right below. You can join this blueprint, and it's just a few tanks of gas, y'all. It's only going to be lasting till the new year. Mike has got hundreds of doors. He is the expert. I know the man personally. I've been to Texas with him, walking in and out of buildings. I don't even know. How many doors did we look at? Were those 2 buildings we went to, Mike?
98.
It was 2.
98. That one was 98. It was 93 when we bought it. No, 8. 90. It was 90 units when we bought it. 8 units were down to studs, and we did a big renovation. Brought 8 units and rented them out. Yeah, you were there after that reno was done, and so we brought our inner circle students. It was fun to bring our inner circle students out there. Chris and Dan Barrero was there with us. We had a good time.
I guess we'll get sound.
We got all kinds of good questions.
LD looking for thoughts, advice on buying his first property. I'm sorry, his or her. I always thinking about doing a house hack on a duplex or purchasing a townhouse, living in it, and then renting it out. Mike,
absolutely, all day, man. That or I don't know. I absolutely 100%. House hacking. If you can do that, the cool thing I like about house hacking is if you do need to get a loan. There's some cool loan options if you're going to live in the project. They're called FHA. You can get into an FHA loan for like 3.5% down and get into, which is how Leanne and I did one of our deals. I mean, we moved into half, rented the other half out. It's $100,000 duplex. We lived in $3,500. We moved in. I mean, and we just sold that last year or two. And so yes, do it. It's powerful model.
Yeah, LD, Mike, when he said project, he didn't mean living in the projects. He means living in the actual subject property. My roundup homies know that. You live in the house, right? That's what I did. I started like that. I rented out the bedroom. So if you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no risk.
I mean, really, that's what college housing is, right? You rent a room out. It's the same concept. You live in one, rent the rest of them out. It's just there's wall between your roommate.
I'm good with that. I didn't care. With some people, I don't know why they say they can't live with other people. I'm like, shoot, they paying my mortgage. I'm good. So everybody's different, though.
It's true. It's true. I hear you there, brother.
Oh, good. Oh, Minnow, wow. Glad you could be here. Glad you could be here.
Good to see you,
Chris Birch. What up? Millions of dollars.
Chris, what's up, man?
Of how not to for $397. You're right, Mike. He says you're too cheap.
Yeah, that's probably true, Chris. That's why I didn't want to do it for Black Friday. Chris got me. Chris got me back. Chris got me back, man. Well, this goes back to our comment earlier about it costing. I had my mentor used to tell me, Mike, mentorship doesn't cost; it's an investment, because anything that returns to you is not a cost. That's a mindset shift. One of those mindset shifts you got to do is we always feel like, oh, they're just charging for things. No, I'm telling you. It's not that. It's that we invest in things we get out of. It's the same thing, right? You don't go to Walmart and walk out with value with not outpaying, or you'll get run down. And so it's the same thing. You get value for that, and you have to decide, is that value worth it to you?
I love that idea, man. It's not costing you, you're investing in it. It has a return.
No, absolutely.
Which most of the things you buy will have low returns. I promise. Yeah, I don't think we think about
returns.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Gucci and Louis Vuitton, man, that is diminishing return.
Or what kind of research do I need to do? What research is needed to know which market is best for multifamily? Mike's the master on that.
I will tell you, there's one thing you follow. Then I'll give you a second, but it's one thing. Follow jobs. Where are jobs going?
You got a secret that too. You got a secret with that one too, don't you? How to find that stuff?
Jobs. Then the second one, look at population growth. Population growth will usually tell you if there's jobs there. People ain't moving places, there ain't jobs. So you can look at population growth and a lot of times see the job growth. The third thing I look for is I invest in landlord-friendly areas in multifamily, because the last thing you want is to have a tenant in there and not pay you. I've got a friend in New York, couldn't evict a tenant, $3,000 rent payment, couldn't evict them for like 18, 24 months, didn't pay. Just a disaster. That's so hard for both people. And with all the assistance available, it's kind of nonsense. You can go get assistance and get bailed out of a hard time. But the truth is, you want to invest where there is landlord-friendly laws, where you can control your asset. Has nothing to do with hurting people. We want to help people, but it does have to do with you being in control, because you can lose. You can actually go bankrupt and foreclose on a property. If you can't evict somebody and they can live there and you can't make the mortgage payment, then you're kind of done. So those are the three things.
Okay, Orion, good question, buddy.
Good question.
Jody, I agree with Chris Birdie. Anybody thinking that this is too much should see what other multifamily gurus are asking.
Boom.
Yeah.
Good.
It does this for me, though.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I say Chris's face is on this. You won't see anybody else.
The Hollywood bass player. I like that.
Bass player. I played bass in high school, my friend.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Would you recommend building a duplex, or just find? Did you build yours, Mike?
Yeah, my first one ever. Back when I was 20 years old, I asked my parents to help me get a loan, and I built my duplex from the ground up with my own hands. So you can definitely build it. But it's the same concept. I personally, when I start, I would buy it. It's just easier. I would just buy it.
Well, he's saying, let me finish your question, Mike. He says the ones where he lives look hideous, and they may not be able to charge rent.
Yeah, so
Hollywood, go ahead.
If that's the case, yeah, building might work. Chris is building his house right now. Yeah, building might work.
I'm thinking about that. Duplexes, now I have done duplexes. I mean, well, Mike, you're the master at that. I guess you'd have to get land, or would a tear down?
Yeah, you'd have to get land, and usually they won't lend on land, so you got to have cash for the land. That's why it gets a little hairy with having to have cash for the land. Then you can use the land as collateral to get the loan. It gets funky.
Yeah.
That's why I would just buy a property. It's just easier.
It is easier to do, because yeah, you're right. We're building now. I knew I had been saving for years, right? So I knew I had that capital.
You had the land,
no problems. But an investment,
yeah,
I had that capital sitting for that. That's a good point, though, Mike.
Yeah.
Sadir, what's the good way to get the checklist of all the items that we need to know as a beginner? Approval letters, contracts.
Yeah. So in the program, there's actually a BDA before, during, after you get into a deal. Here's what you got to do before, when you're in the middle of a deal, after you get to a deal. There's an actual checklist of what you actually need to do in the program of actually just do this, and this. It's all right there, because there's a lot. There's just a lot of little items. Anytime you do real estate, there's a lot of little boxes to check off.
Mm-hmm. Good one. BL Warden, do I have to purchase a multifamily in my company's name in order to use a commercial loan?
Most commercial loans will not lend to an individual. They only will lend to an entity.
No.
So you'll have to get an LLC.
That's not a big deal, though, BL. I don't want to make it seem like it's just
very small deal. In fact, a lot of the lenders have LLC departments. You pay them $1,000, they'll create the whole thing for you, and it's done.
Wow.
You don't even need to worry. That is the least of that's a very small thing, brother.
Which you can get that quickly. Yeah, they're saying that hard money guys won't loan to human beings anyway either. Not landlord friendly. All right, Mike. So guys, if you haven't, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No. I've been there with landlord friendly states. Michigan wasn't very landlord friendly where I started.
No. Oh, he's Jody's been involved with that too.
Yeah, no. But we would love to have y'all. Oh, and when we do that 4-hour workshop, I'm gonna bring Chris in for one of those sessions and interview him on some tactics that he does in the single family world that'll work in the multifamily world. So we'll both be there. But come hang out with us. Love to have you on the inside.
Yeah, you're pulling some of the single family strategies that we deploy over to. I remember obviously when we first met years ago, the stuff you were doing. I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, just the strategies are different, right? And then you were seeing what I'm doing. You're like, I can't believe people do, and then you're bringing them over there. It's really cool to see both of them come together.
Yeah. A lot of what Chris does, especially with the lenders and subject to, that all can be done in the multifamily space. And it's just apply the way you apply it. And so
that's gotta why be a monster, Mike. That has to be to do that, to bring that stuff over to multifamily. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you would be like a sensei.
Yeah, that's what I don't know about that, but that's what I'm trying, my friend. I'll tell you. Well, this is why I hang out with people. Remember Henry Ford? A lot of people think Henry Ford created the assembly line. He didn't. He learned it from the fast food industry. He was at he was watching the food, or not fast food, but watching the food market and watching the assembly line go along a meat packing plant. How one person did the same job. He learned how to bring the assembly line to the car industry by watching somebody else. So I come watch Chris what he's doing in single family and be like, "Ooh, that could work over here. That could work over here," and vice versa. And that's why
Yeah,
it's cool hanging out with people that know things that you don't know. I don't
that's
use
right.
lenders. Chris uses them every single day.
Yeah,
And so I like to talk to him. I use investors that are different.
I love it. That is so cool. So round up the links in the video description. Get signed up. Don't waste your time thinking about it, talking yourself out of it. I promise you, you're going to spend the same amount of money New Year's Eve on drinks and going out doing whatever you're doing. Why not
Absolutely you
invest
are.
it as opposed to spending it? They're two different wheels. You got the investment wheel and spending wheel. Spending is gone, never comes back. Right?
Yeah,
Investing
amen.
stuff like you're here with me, you're investing your time, your eyeballs with me right now. Why? Because you know, whatever the hell I'm doing, I don't have time to play. You already know
Yeah,
that's why you're here, right? I'm dealing with big
exactly.
dollar stuff too. So Mike's dealing with bigger dollar stuff. You have to align. If you want to change your thinking, whatever in your life now, you have to be in an environment. I have to train myself too, Chris. Get in the right environment. Be in the right environment. You know, right? So these are where those ideas, thoughts, and the perspectives, ideologies inside of these trainings is where those environments exist.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Same strategy, just different approach,
You know?
different asset, different bullseye, if you will.
Thanks, Mike. All right, y'all. It's in the video description. Get signed up. Anything else, Mike? We're going. Oh, it's one thing
No,
you had to do is another bonus tip.
well, oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See, I told you that's why you needed to remind me to say that. So a lot of
Is
people
that a
right
slideshow? Is that a slide or no?
no, there's no
Okay.
slide.
All right.
No, there's no slide. So
All
a
right.
lot of people use the MLS to find deals. You all know that. And I told you one of the ways to find deals was to find brokers. Here's a power tip. Most people are going to the MLS. The problem with the MLS, as you know, it's crowded. Everybody can go to the MLS and find deals. So that's where not the good deals don't live there. Here's what you can do, and here's what I learned how to do. You go to the MLS, you find a deal, a multifamily deal, and you see what broker listed that deal. Then you call that broker and see what other deals he has that are off market. So that now the MLS is a broker site for you, not a deal site, because the good deals aren't there. But you go there to find brokers, then start building a relationship with them. Go there to
Got
find
it.
brokers. That's how I started growing my list or my broker list is I went there and saw, oh, this broker lists multifamily. I bet he's got other deals. And I called
Got
him
it.
and found that out. That's a
I
power
see.
tip for you.
That is a good one there. Thank you for dropping that on us, Mike.
Thank you for reminding me, my friend. Thank you for reminding me. It was so good to hang with you today, brother.
Yeah, good to see you. We got to get together soon in real life and figure out how we can give some value to the community, brother.
I would love it. I would love it. Thank you all for your time. And I hope to see you in the academy and on our 4-hour workshop. Can't wait to see you all.
Happy New Year roundup, homies. I'll see you on this Saturday's video. Peace.